Hello and welcome to Nikolai's genetics lessons, and today's question I got from one of my subscribers, and here's a question. The cross of two parents with following genotypes would yield, and you have to choose the correct answer. And maybe what can confuse you, if you would see such a problem on your exam, the unusual notation here. So what I would do, I would just change the way how these genes are represented, and I would say that parent 1, so let's say this is going to be parent 1 and this is going to be parent 2. So parent 1 genotype is capital A, M, O, and B, B. And we cross with another parent whose genotype is capital A, capital M, and capital B. Next, what probably would confuse you, how many genes we have here. So here's one gene pair, here's another gene pair, here's a third gene pair, and another parent also has one gene pair, second and third. What else might confuse you here, that why in second gene pair, instead, for example, alleles which you get used, for example, dominant allele M and recessive allele M, or for example, sometimes you would see allele M1 and M2. Why, if it is the same gene, it has two different letters that designate this gene? But it is normal. Sometimes we can see that the same gene can be specified by different letters. And the most probable famous example would be ABO blood group system, where we have three alleles for the same gene. One is allele A, another allele P, and another allele O. So all the three alleles specify the same gene in three allelic forms. So sometimes we use O in order to specify that this is non-working allele, and probably in this example O here also specify the same M allele but non-working. So parent 1, for the gene M is going to have non-1 allele, which is going to be non-working. So parent 1 is going to be heterozygous for the gene M. So what probable genotypes such a cross can produce? And variant 1 would be, so next generation, F1, and variant number 1 would be, for example, parent 1 would contribute to the progeny any of this dominant allele A. So progeny would have from parent 1 dominant allele A. And parent 2 also have only dominant allele A. So we know that progeny have to be homozygous for the gene A. And as for the second gene M, parent 1 can contribute, for example, allele M, and parent 2 only can contribute dominant allele M, no any other variants. And as for the gene B, parent 1 also can contribute any of these dominant alleles B, and parent 2 also can contribute any of these dominant alleles B. So we know that progeny have to be homozygous for the gene B. So this is variant number 1, but another variant also possible. Again, I don't want to add arrows here, but in the first variant, we choose that parent 1 would contribute dominant allele M. But another variant would be that parent 1 would contribute allele O instead. And the genotype in this case would be both parents for the gene A only can contribute dominant alleles. So second variant also would have gene A, which is going to be homozygous dominant. And parent 2 can contribute for the gene M, only M allele, but parent 1 can contribute O allele. And as for the third set of alleles for gene B, both parents only can contribute dominant allele B. So you see, these two genotypes are going to happen with the same frequency, which is going to be 1 to 1. Ratio would be 1 to 1. But we don't have such a ratio here, but we have here ratio 2 to 2. And this is the same as 1 to 1. So 2 to 2 is the same ratio as 1 to 1. Or for example, 4 to 4 also would be the same ratio as 1 to 1. So this is going to be our choice variant C. Again, let's check. 50% of the progeny is going to be homozygous for the gene A. For the gene M would be MO, and for the gene B is going to be BB. And another 50% of the progeny would be homozygous for the gene A, homozygous for the gene M, and homozygous for the gene B, just like in our example here. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.